Alex, disappointing result. What do you think of today's game?
Very disappointing result. Much happier with with the way we lost, if you can be, from the last 2 weeks with Wales, and certainly with the Stourport game. I was looking for a reaction from the lads. Certainly got that. You know, we had plenty of chances. Their keeper was certainly the more busier. Disappointed in the way we gave away a goal so quickly after half time. But realistically, the elements today and a couple of official decisions possibly made the difference between us coming away with a solid point, or possibly nicking a win, instead of coming away with nothing, which was the most disappointing thing, really.
Yeah, we don't seem to be. I know you don't like talking about officials' decisions, but we don't seem to be having the rub of the green at the moment with those.
Certainly, and I've been in to see the referee just after the game there, and in my polite, inimitable fashion, just try and get an answer from him about what he saw, because from where I saw it, obviously I was just on the field at that point, and I was about 5 yards away from Kev Halliday, who seemingly it was a blatant handball to the point where he was giggling about the fact he got away with it. Just disappointing for me that the referee didn't see it quite the same. He seemed to think it hit his midriff. For me, his arm was out, and it had smashed him flush on the arm. It's one of those things. I mean, I can sit here and moan and groan about that, but realistically, we probably should have scored, in open play, a couple of times anyway. But yeah, I don't like moaning about referees. Having a mother and father who used to be one themselves, I know how difficult the game is, and having done it at school, I know how difficult it is. But today, I just thought those sorts of pivotal decisions are making a difference to possibly our season. I mean, more so last week. I know I've spoken to a few of the board members, and last week I think the penalty against Wales was was just as blatant, and we didn't get anything from that. Yet again today, it was the last minute. I think a draw would have been a fair result today. Yeah. If I'm honest, I think a draw would have been a fair result, and to not get that opportunity to get that penalty, yeah, it's very disappointing. But something we can't dwell on, I presume.
What's the atmosphere like in the changing room after that? Because the lads worked hard and didn't seem to get the rewards they deserved. Atmosphere
is still relatively good, and I mean that's my job and Steve's job and Dean's job to keep that bubbly, especially bearing in mind we're going into a massive game on Tuesday with Yate, which I think is could define our season. Those sorts of games will define where we want to finish this year. Today I think Didcot are in a false position. They've got some good players in there. Certainly a good gaffer who knows the league and knows the game well. And I know, having looked at their fixtures, they've played against three of the biggest spenders in the league. They've played against Hungerford and lost. They've played Gosport and lost, and they've played Thatcham and lost. Got two good draws against Cinderford and Yates. So I knew today was going to be one where they are in a false position, and it's one of them. It's how we bounce back, and I asked for a reaction today and certainly got that from the squad, and I was really pleased with that in the way we went about our business. But certainly the elements didn't make things great for us, especially the way we need to pass it and we want to pass the ball. So that was difficult, and coupled that with with what should have been a penalty, possibly it leaves a bit of taste in my mouth. But on the scale of things, we should have come away with something, and it's just my job to pick the boys up now and be positive about Tuesday, because the games come thick and fast at the moment. So Tuesday's good for us to get that and get back out there and hit the ground running again. And if we get 3 on Tuesday, suddenly today doesn't sound so bad, and we can kick on into the Reading Shield Cup game on the Saturday, and then to Abingdon on the Saturday after. And I think they're 2 big games. Certainly Yate and Abingdon are 2 big games that we've really got to focus all our efforts on getting maximum 6 out of them.
James Vichesi made his debut again for us today, 3rd time. How did you think he played?
Yeah, I was really pleased with James, because it's always difficult coming back into a side, certainly with James, who's been out of the game for a while. I was expecting realistically only to get 50, maybe 60 minutes out of him. I know what he can offer, and I think today, certainly to the lads who've not seen him before, they were then left with no uncertain terms about what James can offer to the team. Held it out really well for us, and I thought, to be fair to him, he got better as the game got on.
He did, yeah.
Certainly timing for somebody like that who wins quite a lot of headers, that will come with time. And with James, it's about getting games in. If we can get, Tuesday won't come quick enough for him. Hopefully another game Saturday, and within 3 or 4 games, I'd imagine you'd see the real eye-tie back. And I thought for his first game back, he did great today. I apologise to him about the fact he had to go through 90 minutes for me today, but it was one of those things where we had to throw a bit of caution to the wind later on, and had to keep him on, because at the end of the day he's a goal scorer. It was just to try and get that that last gasp chance that might have got salvaged or something.
Sure. John Crowfoot seemed to go off with a little injury. Anything to worry about now?
Yeah, he's potentially pulled his quadricep, which isn't great for John. Again, I played John in a slightly different position today that he's maybe been used to over the last couple of years, but I want to see Bringing Jonah back into the team today, I wanted a little bit of a voice at the back, which Steve brings, and his quality. And I mean, Steve, to be fair to him, could have scored, you know, with the header. The keeper's made a great save. But with John today, I thought, you know, his output in the final third was good. It's just feeling his way back in, because of course he's been out for 3 games with a suspension, so fitness was always going to be an issue with John as well. And like with James, really, in an ideal world I probably would have given him 60-65 minutes, but because we were pressing for the game and positionally, you know, I needed him on there really. So I'm hopeful he might be fit for Tuesday. We'll see how it is. I mean, you know, I'll get some further info over the next 2 days really.
Any other team news for Tuesday? With
well, Lee Smith comes back into the squad, which is great. Yeah. I think today, you know, it's typical really, but I think today would have been a great day for him, because I think he could have bossed that midfield. And as much as Mike and Lee worked really hard today, you know, it was a sort of game for Lee, because it would be a, you know, a header kick, a tackle type game, and you know, with the wind and stuff, I think he could have bossed that. So he'll be, you know, it'll be good, and he'll probably come straight back certainly into the squad, maybe into the team on Tuesday. Elliot Kennedy comes back into the squad. He's been away today on Tuesday, so that's 2 back. But then we'll see how the walking wounded are on Tuesday with regards to John Crowfoot and Ryan Clarks, and see how they are. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, realistically, in the last 5 or 6 games, you know, not once yet have I possibly picked what could be a first choice team. There's always been somebody somewhere who's been out, suspended, injured, or other. So I've not had a full squad to pick from just yet. So, you know, I'll be pleased when all those boys, you know, get back into full fitness and back into the squad. Obviously, games out of Aitai, getting him fit again, get Sam Avery fit again, get Carl Brown back in the squad. You know, and then things. You know, I'm really looking forward to that point when they get back. But you know, as a manager, you deal with what you've got, and you know, we should have been strong enough today to get something out of that game, and unfortunately we weren't.
Okay, Alex, thank you very much.